Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. I'm going to read this. This is a phenomenal statement on commitment by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to turn back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. There is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, magic, and power in it. Begin it now. Scripture says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might. He who hesitates loses. Act now. He who hesitates... Anyway, there's just, you act, you do. You make a commitment, and I made that commitment a long time ago to... I'll hold that up so you can possibly scan that. That's a website. These people make Tesla lights. They are the most phenomenal healing thing I've ever seen in my life, I think. Aaron... Yeah, turn the card over. Aaron Goldhart. Feel more energy, mental clarity, well-being, and balance. So, look that website up. Tesla lights at AIM.com. YouTube Tesla lights. Tesla Energy Lights, and www.teslaenergylights.com. Stabilize for crying out loud. Huh. I don't know why that won't focus. Anyway. So I made a commitment a long time ago. I felt I was starting to see things about the Ozark Plateau, even before I ever knew it existed. And so I started, I basically said, Lord, if there's no one else to take charge of this idea, this operation, this dream, this plan, whatever you have in store, if there's someone better qualified, I'd be happy to not do it. But if nobody else is willing or able or capable, or if no one's better qualified, then I'll do what I can, with what little I have, which is basically absolutely nothing. Which is one of the things that I believe tells me that God is actually working in my life, because God uses the weak things of the world to confound the mighty, and the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and uses the things that are not, people that are nothings, to bring to naught the things that are. I don't know if you ever heard that, but Henrietta Mears said, Moses spent 40 years thinking he was a somebody. And then he spent 40 years finding out that he was a nobody. And then he spent 40 years finding out what God could do with a nobody. And so I also, early on in my Christian life, I figured, 40, I don't know if I'll live to be 120, but I might live to be 60. And I have. So I figured, I've been a fool for 20 years, and I got saved about then, and I figured it might take me 20 years to find out I'm a nobody, because I thought I was somebody before then. I thought I was a great scientist, Anyway, or I was going to be. So, what you're seeing pulsing there, that's pulsing at 15 hertz. That is an earth frequency, a Schumann resonance. It is a shielding frequency, a protective frequency. It's the warm, fuzzy, nice feeling that the earth pulses at to protect things and heal. And so, Dr. Hulda Clark designed a zapper to kill pathogens. And later on, Don Croft redesigned it, I believe it was him, to pulse at, instead of kill things, to heal things. So instead of killing individual pathogens, and he had to do it 7 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 7 minutes on, 20 minutes off, 7 minutes on, because it would kill virus or parasites and then bacteria and then viruses. And if you just killed the parasites, you'd be filled with bacteria, and if you killed the bacteria, you'd be killed with viruses. So anyway, Don Cross said, well, let's just support the body's frequency. So 15 hertz, 15.2 is a shielding frequency. This device is called a sucker punch. This is a device that I got. Actually, the very first one I ordered. Well, I've told this story before. We'll just tell it again real quick. The first one I got and ordered was to try to save a woman's life, Marie Treitzman, dying of cancer. My wife asked her, is there someone you haven't forgiven? She goes, yep, my son-in-law, I hate him. I'll never forgive him as long as I live. Cancer feeds on negative energy, and unforgiveness is a massive negative energy. And so I tried to get my wife to understand that the unforgiveness of her in her life might come back someday. So anyway, Don Crawford designed this sucker punch. Long story, I can't go into it all, but 17 years into, I'll try to recap it. It's too long, I will sum up. 15 years into our marriage, thought she was German, but found out there was a lot of Scottish heritage. The Elliott clan, loyal to Robert the Bruce. A family on the border was disloyal. He threw them out and settled the Elliots on the border with the Kerrs and the Armstrongs, but the Elliots were Highland clans border. They were not originally on the border. They were a Highland clan used to fighting, and so they became a border clan and became part of the Scotch-Irish thing. Anyway, many years later, we started going to Scotch-Irish Festival to find out about her family history, and then many years later had moved to Missouri, went to Kansas City, went to an Irish festival, and I asked, well, gee, can I look at the Diamond family history before I pay for it? Nope. Very next week in Buffalo, a little tiny festival, Scottish festival, I walked up to a table, just instead of in a big booth or in a building, it was in a little, easy up. I said, can I look at it before I buy it? Sure. He told me what I knew where I was from. And so then the family motto is Miseris Succurrere Disco, which is from a longer saying, no stranger to evil. I have learned how to succor. I have been taught by experience. I have been taught by the Lord. I've taught myself through reading, and I have experienced how to succor the distressed, and that's what I'm doing right now. People have been trying to make me extremely miserable and basically trying to kill me, and heat and exhaustion and everything else. I'm hanging in there, but so anyway, sucker punch. And so, but I thought, it's like the devil, little voice, loud voice saying, it's just a coincidence. Nothing to that. They probably just pulled a saying out of the hat and threw it in there, and they're just, because it was a website, that I found it on originally. And they just pulled that out of a hat and threw it on the family motto, your family history, and it doesn't really mean anything. So the day that I ordered the sucker punch, the same day, probably within minutes, I looked online, Diamond family motto, and Miseris Succurrere Disco. So anyway, this is a sucker punch. This was designed as a shielding device, I call it a cloaking device, like the Klingons in Star Trek. It's designed for driving, to shield you from, but it's also an intentional healing device too. That coiling is magnet wire, heavy magnet wire around that crystal, and it takes the 15 hertz and scatters it, creates what they call a scalar wave, in and out of reality, in and out of time and space, however you want to describe it. So it's a nodding, coiling, scattering effect. Now, if anybody says, crystals are new age, crystals are evil, crystals are, whatever. Morons. Who invented crystals? Ha, 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 ha. God did. He designed them. He created them. Everybody that bitches at me about that, they're talking on a cell phone. They're writing to me on a computer that, guess what, uses crystals, liquid crystal diodes. It uses crystals. Your capacitors are crystals. Your quartz capacitors, your piezoelectric igniters on your stoves and your lighters are all crystals. 70%, guess what, of the Earth's crust is silicon dioxide, crystal. And Silicon Valley, every single computer made in the world, has crystals as the memory, so don't whine about crystals. It's just really stupid to say that. I'm sorry. Children of darkness are often wiser than children of light, Jesus said, and that is the truth. So this here is a little orgonite device that has lapis lazuli in it, some gold. I've shown that before, but I'll just, since I'm just doing a crazy, goofy rant there, you know, it's got some gold leaf or something real pretty, but it's epoxy, and I've worn it in my pocket, and it was wearing the epoxy off, and the little pieces of copper wire were starting to kind of stick out. Get some light on that subject there. Might be too much light. Try to get some of the glitter in that. Really pretty gold leaf or something, whatever it is. I mean, it's just really beautiful. It's kind of showing a little bit better. Okay, so much for that one. 68 caliber low gun dart broadheads. Century removal. You have to deal with this stuff, people. That'll be another topic later. Cold steel blowguns, awesome. 600 psi for a cheap hack. 600 psi half-inch PVC tubing is a good hack for those. You gotta just trim the dart, not trim them, not cut them, but just sand off the rough edges on some of them. This is a pretty cool thing. It's in an OtterBox. That's our friend Debs. Moved here from Michigan. She has some videos online. Deb's a lady, about some of her dreams and stuff. She came down here to visit one time, came down, moved lock, stock, tomahawk, and bought a farm 2 days after she got here. Beautiful farm. And one of the things about synergy, I'll get into this, do another video on this later, but so she gets here and she has this, there's a lot of people around here hurting. I'm hurting. My shoulder has been hurt so many ways and so many times, and it's starting to hurt like it hurt years ago when I thought I would never be able to work again. I can hardly move it sometimes. She has a ceramic, what do you call it, Ceragem, a far infrared massage bench. Oh my gosh, the thing is phenomenal. First time I was on it, it didn't even go down to the knees. It's got a roller mechanism. Didn't even go down to my knees, but my knees felt so much better. I could walk up and down the stairs with both feet instead of just one of them. This is a camouflage bucket. I was at a flea market, and I was like, man, I was beat tired of it with Deb, and I was like, I gotta have something to sit on, and I need something to carry stuff in, and so boom. And it's also a mouse vault. It's got insulation there. It's like a bait bucket, but pretty cool. I like it. All right, oddball stuff laying around. Just goofy video, but such is life. This is Jerry Dime with How to Get Out of Babylon. If you are listening to this, you are the remnant.